Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. This lovely, rainy Friday night, we are continuing to read Animorphs number 9, The Secret by K.A. Applegate. Now, I was going to actually get this out around maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon, but then I started thinking about cockatiel, about how long finding one is taking, and I'm like, I need to go to the pet store and just search for stuff that I'll need for the cockatiel, just some food and a little treat. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I was going to come home. And then I was one to pick up Chinese food. And then we watched. Yeah, I lost the viewer. Poor soul. And then had dinner, watched an episode of a show, watched a horror comedy, we'll call it. That's how I did. And then I had trouble with Facebook, and that was never mind the bullshit. But I am here now, and that is all that matters. I lost a viewer. I I hate when I do these funny stories in the intro. Yeah, let's maybe the viewer will come back. That was a creepy face. Okay, let's continue with Animorphs number 9, The Secret by K.A. Applegate. Yay! Wolves can run. Wolves can run all through the night without stopping or slowing or taking a break. We ran, Marco and I, jumping fallen logs, swerving through trees and skirting patches of thorns, across sunset-lit meadows and through dark stands of tall pines. We splashed happily through streams and skittered across rocks. We were running on sensation, our heads swimming with smell and sound and sight. There was nothing within 1,000 yards that we didn't know about. We were plugged into the data stream of nature itself. We smelled the logging camp long before we reached it. Then we heard the sounds of machines, and we heard the murmurs of conversation, human voices. Then we got a reminder that we were not the only hyper alert predators in the forest. Is that you guys? A thought speak voice asked. Jake's voice. Yes? Where are you? I asked. Way up above you, Jake said with a laugh. I stopped running and craned my head back like I was going to howl at the moon. Through a break in the trees, I saw a patch of sky, and way up in that sky, I saw 3 tiny black dots. Tobias and Jake, floating a quarter-mile up. Even in the weakening light, they had seen us from clear up in the bellies of the clouds. The place is just ahead. Lots of heavy equipment, guards. But go take a look. Just be careful. We'd hang out, but the sun's going down and we won't be able to see much more anyway, Tobias remarked. You saw us, I said. a bit grumpily. Tobias laughed. Yeah, but you're a pair of great big wolves. That's not much of a challenge. Now, that flea crawling by your ear. You can't see a flea, I said. Tobias answered. Can't I? Marco and I started moving forward again, but slower than before, more cautiously. Through the trees, we began to see light, artificial light. We crept slower. Damn. We crept slowly nearer, shoulders hunched, heads low, ears aimed forward, sniffing the wind for clues. The command center building was bigger than it had looked at first. It was made of logs, like some kind of rustic ranger station. It was 2 stories tall, with a porch on the front. On the back and side ground levels, there were no windows. None at all. There were windows on the upper level, but they were dark. Too dark for me to see into. There were blindingly bright spotlights mounted atop the building. The forest had been cut back 100 feet or so on all sides of the building, and the bare, scarred earth all round was lit as bright as the sunniest day. A dozen or so huge pieces of equipment were parked neatly side by side. Earth movers, oddly shaped cranes, trucks, and some monstrous thing that looked like a huge kid's toy. I guess that was used to cut trees. My heightened wolf senses noticed several men walking around the perimeter of the clearing. They were spaced about 50 yards apart and seemed very alert. The nearest one was walking just in front of us. Marco and I crouched low behind tree trunks and stood perfectly still. The man wore a tan uniform. The legs of his pants were tucked into high leather boots. He was carrying an automatic rifle. Okay, this does look just slightly extreme for a logging camp. That guy's no lumberjack, I said. I aimed my ears at the building, but no sounds came from inside. Either there was no one in there or they had soundproofed the place really well. Are you getting anything? Marco asked me. Not from inside the building, but I'm smelling stuff that I can't recognize. Weird smells. Yeah, me too. Animal smells, but weird. You know? Hork Bajir? Could be, Marco said. The guards are all human, I pointed out. You know, this may have nothing to do with the Yerks. Maybe whoever these guys are, they're up to something totally different. I mean, normal humans do act strange sometimes. Not every weird person is a controller. No. But don't forget the force field. Even if these guys were like drug dealers or something, I don't think they'd have a force field. Good point. I fell silent. I had heard a noise, several noises, movement, careful, stealthy movement. And I need to make sure my voice doesn't go. Hang on. Sorry, it's a sweet tea. One of the few things I can drink because of my acid reflux. Yay! And now let's continue on with the story. I glanced at Marco. I saw that his ears were pricked up too. Yeah, I heard that, Marco said. Behind us. Someone circling around. I felt the knife edge of fear. The human part of me was afraid. The wolf me was not. But I trusted the human instinct more on this. Where are the guards? I asked. Oh, Marco said. Blinding light. Lights everywhere, everywhere. The whole world was a brilliant white. I felt like the whole universe could see me. Blam, 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 blam. The sound of sharp, crackling explosions in the trees above us. I glanced up. Something falling. A net. Big steel nets were exploding from the trees above us, falling toward us. There were heavy weights at the edges. Run! We bolted. The net above me fell. I was racing the falling edge. Racing, racing. Free. The net scraped my back, but I was out from under. Choo-choo! Choo-choo! A brilliant stab of red light shot from the dark upper windows of the log building. The beam hit the base of a tree not 6 inches from me. The wood was vaporized. A 6-inch hole was blown right through its trunk. Dracon beams! I started to run, but something felt wrong. Marco! Where was he? I turned and looked back. He was under the net. He was weighed down and crawling on his belly to get free of it. I ran back. Choo-choo! The Dracon beams, almost pale in the brilliant floodlit woods, fired again and again. I grabbed the edge of the net in my jaws and lifted it up. It was shockingly heavy. No wonder Marco was crawling. Get out of here! Marco yelled. Don't get killed for me. Shut up and come on! I cried. I couldn't hold the net. My jaws were aching. My neck was dragging down. Marco was barely inching forward. The Dracon beams were getting more and more accurate. And now I saw where the guards had disappeared to. They were running through the woods towards us. Half a dozen men carrying automatic weapons. It was an eerie and terrifying sight as the men cast gigantic shadows up into the treetops. Then something faster than a wolf, faster than a human, like a deer, like a horse, a mouthless face, eyes on stalks, a tail like a scorpion, a creature like nothing that lived on earth. It raced straight for us. Axe! I cried. His tail struck faster than a human eye could follow. The tail blade made sparks as it sliced through the net, leaving a long gash just in front of Marco's nose. Yikes! That was a little close, Marco said, but he surged through the hole in the net and took off. I was right behind him. Wolves are already fast. But when you get a scared wolf with a scared human mind inside it, you'd be amazed how that animal can move. We hauled our butts out of there with Axe right behind us. Bam, 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 bam. Gunfire. Good old-fashioned human, very deadly gunfire. It's much louder in reality than it is in movies. And it's much scarier to have it aimed at you than it is to see it in a movie. Basically, getting shot at is absolutely nothing like a movie. Ah! I yelled, ah! Marco yelled, ah! Axe agreed. Two wolves and an Andalite set a new record speeding away from that place. Whew. And that's the end of that chapter. I have asthma, so that's also part of the reason I decided to drink something, because I knew it'd be a little bit until I could stop, and I didn't want my voice to falter then. And with the with Axe saying it, you know, Andalites sometimes experience some emotions a little differently. Like Axe experiences fear, but he doesn't always yell, and sometimes he's calmer. So I just saw Axe hearing Cassie and Marco screaming, and he's like, I guess that's what I should do. That's he's still like confused about why, but he still decides to join in. They're like, hey, I'm part of the group here. Oh god. Plus, I wanted all three to be screaming differently, and I'm really not that talented. I liked exploring the little logging operation. Cassie she can tell things, that this is definitely a Yerk operation, but at the same time, she's like, look at they're humans. Maybe we don't have to, risk our lives here. And Marco's like, yeah, Cassie, I'm like the first person to use anything as an excuse to go, hey, not fighting today, but there's a little thing of the force field. Yeah, I liked Marco and Cassie working together. And so let's see. Okay, this is going to be a little more serious question for you to muse about. But if you were in Cassie's position of this chapter and Marco, had the net on him, and you had the choice between whether to go back and save him or run away to safety, which one would you have chosen and why? And I am not going to judge you on your answers here because, yeah. And remember, comment below with anything else you thought about this chapter. But remember, no major spoilers. I'm hoping against hope that people discover the Animorphs series via these videos. So, no major spoilers. And if you're watching this on the YouTubes, hi. Please like this video if you like wolves. I don't have a good reason today, but like this video because I'm awesome. And remember to subscribe to this channel because I'm going to not only be finishing up all of Animorphs number 9, but I'm going to be reading the entire Animorphs series. So don't want to miss a thing here. And if you're watching this on my Bloggity Blog and watching on the desktop version of my Bloggity Blog, please choose the follow by email option so you will never again miss out on anything I do on my blog. I just don't do these videos. I also do fanfics. I also do long reviews. I also do long analysis of different works. So yeah. And until next time, I hope you have a very safe night or day or whenever you're watching this. Okay.